Hi everyone, it's Gravediggers time. Once again, I do have to apologise for the delay. I've been really busy. June has turned into a mental month for me. I have, however, managed to get a lot of this Partizan save done. If you're particularly eagle-eyed, you'll notice in the top left, well, my top left, your top right, it will say 4th of December 2032. So that means the first time I'm seeing you since we lost to Newcastle is December of the following season. Now, we have quite a good reason for that. We touched on the fact that we might not bring it back for the cup final. We'll show you what happened there. We'll also touch on why we are so far ahead. So basically, like I said, I've not actually had a huge amount of time to record, but my schedule has kind of allowed me to do a fair bit of just playing, like while I've been like out or about, or because I basically do it all off my laptop, so obviously I'm not confined to a desktop. Basically, I've been able to play, but not necessarily in a position to record, if you know what I mean. So that means that basically I've just been able to get a lot of game time done and not much recording, but I'm kind of at the same time unconscious of the fact that we're 27th of June date of recording now. In about 4 months we could have the FM24 beta that we'll be playing. I'm conscious we're going into season 11. We've not even reached the Champions League quarter final yet. So I'm kind of like just trying to get this save moving along as possible, bring it back for what I hope is generally a bit more interesting occasions for you. I have kind of toyed with the idea of just doing like a season summary, even just playing a season and then just summarising it all. Let me know if that's something you'd be keen for, if you like having these sort of progress episodes during a season. I'm happy to do that, but long intro, I've waffled on, let's go. So first up, we actually had the Cup semi-final, which arguably would have actually been a better game than the final in hindsight. We played TSC, and as you can see, we won 2-1, but we came from behind. They scored completely against the run of play, with them scoring from their only shot on target. Meanwhile, we had 32 shots, 12 of which were on target, but we did finally break the deadlock. Not deadlock. Break their defence and then make it 2-1 to get the win. And then the final was against Mladost Luciani, and as you can see, yeah, this is what we mean. This is why I didn't bring it back for this game, because these were a team who were in the second half of the table. We were 3-0 up, after 56 minutes. 4-0 up after 64 then, and then they pulled one back, and it was a pretty easy win in the end. Wasn't really much of a contest, to be honest with you, it would have just been a bit of a pointless episode in some ways, because we were just bringing it back just for the sake of a game, and I just thought I was in a position to just get it played and sort of get some transfer business done and get into the next season. Now, despite being injured for about 4 to 5 weeks, this is how Mr. Karaoke finished up with 48 goals? Yeah, 48 goals in 43 appearances, 3 of them sub appearances. Absolutely unreal return from him. It's just such a good season. And someone we had touched on, another superstar performer, was Stefan Choquette, who got 23 goals, 15 assists in 42 appearances. Just phenomenal. Someone who, like we were saying, kind of just slipped under the radar a bit, really, and just delivered in absolute spades. And then Captain Partizan, the superstar himself, finished the season with 17 goals and 22 assists, with an average match rating of 7.43. I think it might have been his best return since we've been here. 39 goal contributions in 47 games. Now, as you can see, in the Player of the Season awards, we cleaned up with Karaoke, Jovic and Choquette getting all the awards. And then we also did the same with the young players as well, with Falcone, Castorani and Cvetanovic also cleaning up there. Now, you'll also notice that the faces are still there, the regen faces. I tried to do it under Nugan and it's not recognising my RTF file. If anyone's got any tips, let me know. But it's not recognising it, basically. Just basically done everything that I've done previously, and for some reason it's just not working this time. And then what all that meant in the end was that we won 34 out of 37 games. That one defeat to TSC, where we lost 1-0, a little bit of an FMing, just stopped us getting a perfect season. 118 goals, 104 points. That was a league record for us on the wins, the goals scored and the total points. Red Star still do have the most points in a season though, I believe. But I think they have 35 wins. But that's a record to try and beat at some point. And a little bit of an honourable mention for Castorani, who weighed in with 21 goal contributions in the end in 43 appearances. Phenomenal, absolutely brilliant, and most of his goals were like screamers as well. Now you join us today, we've got 2 games, we've also got new kits, everyone. I did some new kits for this season because I haven't done any for a while. So yeah, we just dabbled a little bit with them. But it's a bit of a transitional season, to be honest with you. There's been a lot of transfer business, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, and I'll just read out the figures that you can't see behind my head. As you can see, 222 mil out. Now, once again, we did have the threat of FFP possibly hanging over our heads. So we did move to sell some players on. Some of them wanted to leave. Some of them we wouldn't have objected too much to them staying, but once the figures came in, we made the most of it and fleeced the clubs for all they were worth, basically. So first up was Fredrik Jensen. Now, you might remember we said last time that we'd had he wanted to go to Villarreal. We rejected it, and he was quite sort of happy to stay. But then Leicester came in, and he was sort of making noises again that he wanted to go. So we managed to get 17 mil for him, and we bought him for 7.5 mil. So to basically make sort of 10 mil profit, once the add-ons kick in, I think it's pretty good going. Ezequiel Perez is another one. Arsenal bid for him. Now Arsenal, as a caveat, had actually just won the league, and he was like, I would really want to go and play for Arsenal. They just won the Premier League, blah, blah, blah. I bought him for 5.5 mil and managed to get 37.5 mil guaranteed with 43 million in add-ons, and I think that's, again, a brilliant bit of business. Choquette, Leicester bid for him, and Choquette was like, I want to go, I want to play in the Premier League, you can't convince me to stay. Playing in the Prem is fantastic, a much bigger league, blah, blah, blah. So again, someone we bought for like 3.4 mil to get a potential £14.5 million for him, I thought was really, really good. Considering we had Sunar joining, who we touched on, I felt like we were kind of okay-ish in that position, and we got Shivatanovic coming through. It would look like Bettins was going to leave early doors as well, but we managed to sort of keep hold of him for a little bit, and then we ended up selling him for a total of, potential 50 million to Juventus. We got 43 mil for him up front and 50 million total, and we bought him for 21, so we made a nice profit there. But yeah, going back to Choquette, yeah, we had some players coming in which we were happy to sort of let go. We brought Agostinho Mendonca in once Bettins left for a bit of depth on that left-hand side, in on loan from Man City. So he's mainly been used as a rotation option for now, but he can definitely feature more. He probably will feature more, but we're just using him mainly as rotation. Vitaly Voronkov was another one. So we signed him for 32 million. We managed to get 47.5 mil. With including add-ons from Real Madrid. Again, he really wanted to make the move. We did accept a bid, I think, from someone else, but it wasn't as good a package as the Real Madrid one. Real Madrid were offering less up front, but then instalments basically took it to 45.5 mil, and then with add-ons it was 47.5 mil. The other one was like 29 mil up front, but then 11 mil in instalments maybe, so it was a bit less money. Edelson, I think to get 9.25 mil up front, possibly 12 mil for him is brilliant. Someone who hadn't really done great. He'd been out on loan at Dusseldorf last season, pretty rubbish. They got relegated actually from Division 2. We signed him for 4.3 mil. We sold him for 9.25 guaranteed, especially when we've got Pedro Santos, who's a perfectly adequate backup. A few loan moves. Apasio, bid came in for him. We were like, yeah, go for it, off you go. It wasn't as much as we wanted, but there's no point really keeping hold of him. He was only potentially going to depreciate in value. So we signed him for free, and he's gone for 3.5 mil in total. Gristay has just gone out on loan to Bucharest, and he's doing quite well out on loan there. Shaba Kertész, again, another one who was probably really never going to cement himself in the team. Lech Poznan came in, and I think he cost us 2.8 mil, and we got 4.5 mil for him up front, with potentially 4.7 mil. Then Carioca is someone who we've said we might struggle to keep hold of him. There's been a few bids in the January, and then there were clubs swirling around, like Spurs, I think, Man United, Leipzig maybe. And he was really unhappy. He was like, I want to go and play in a better league. And it got to this point, and I was like, we had a few players joining, and I was like, you know what, I'll sell you to the highest bidder. So I just kept negotiating all the offers until we managed to settle on 48 mil up front with 52 mil in add-ons. I say up front, 48 mil guaranteed. And he's gone to Mainz. We signed him for 14.25 mil, so great return. He's got, 8 goals, 2 assists and 12 appearances for Mainz, so he's doing okay there. I think we do have a sell on as well, so if he does really well, we'll hopefully get a slice of that. And then the rest were like a couple of loan moves, a few little, sort of youth players who weren't going to cut it, gone out. We ended up selling Goran Medic to Toulouse, so he cost us nothing. You can't really see him that well, his attributes wise. He's developed quite nicely, but we got him for free. And he was only ever a bit part player, really. We just sort of used him, off the bench. So we went to Toulouse. We got like 3.7 mil for him, so I'm quite happy with that. In terms of incomings, we'll just jump back to last season because there's a few from there. So we'd already touched on SS Sunar. He has been incredible since he's joined, playing as that left winger. Absolutely incredible. Unreal. So good. We've also brought in this guy, Damian Skiba from Lech Poznan, Polish centre-back. Looks like he could be really, really good. It's only saying 4-star potential, but he's definitely someone who can at least be a decent rotation option for us, if needed. And same with this guy, we got him for a steal, 975k for Rolf Aldun Ertehals from Man United. He joined us from, and he's versatile. He can be a decent rotation option, and hopefully we can then just sell him out into the league and he can continue to sort of develop out there. In terms of what else we've done this season, so you'll notice Victor Osimhen joined on a free. Basically, came up that his contract was expiring at Napoli, and he was happy to be an impact sub for us with really low wages. He wanted for us, he wanted 51k a week. We managed to get him on. So for an experienced striker, someone to come in, bit of a mentor, potentially help pass some traits onto some of our younger strikers, and just do a job, if needed. I thought that was a no-brainer, really. So he's joined with the option, joined for 12 months with the option of another deal based on league performances, a contract extension. David Costas, no-brainer to bring him in. We negotiated a fee with United. He was on loan last season with Perez and Voronkov leaving. It literally made so much sense just to bring him straight in. We'll touch on our schedule in a bit, but we have been shafted with injuries this season, and we will talk about that. Nekdet Shihan came in from Anderlecht, another defensive sort of midfield option with Voronkov and Shokat leaving. Voronkov and Perez leaving. The advantage that these two have is that they are EU nationals, so we don't have to worry about foreign player rules with them, and it's brilliant. This guy has been so good. He has been fantastic. As you can see, that's 7 assists just for us. I think that's right. 7 assists for us and a goal. He's been so good. 22 mil, and he's been brilliant. We potentially found our Jovic replacement in Aureli Couchard, who's come in from Barcelona. Wanted a lot of money. Obviously, he's come from Barca, but he's someone who I think has the potential to turn into a decent winger for us. We brought in this guy, Guichel Ngoy, from PSG on loan. He can play left back and right back. We basically just needed a little bit of depth with Jensen leaving. We only had Tugard, and Tugard was another one, big injury problems at the start of the season. So we just brought him in for a bit of depth. It was kind of like a bit of a desperation signing / we're getting shafted here and I need more depth. Cicero de Marias came in from Paranense for 2 million. I think he could be a really good player. So could be really, really good if we can handle his development right. And then Mendonca we've touched on. The schedule, so we're actually unbeaten in the league. We've drawn 5, but we haven't lost yet. But basically, we had Costas injured, Tugard injured, Falcone injured, Rogana injured, someone else as well. We had a lot. Basically, we couldn't play. We didn't have a fullback to play, essentially. Like a starting fullback to play at times. And our midfield, we were so light. It was just absolute jarg. It was so bad. Things were complicated as well when PSG, of all teams, bid for Jovic. PSG, and all this time he's not been bothered about going to anyone. Then PSG come in and he's like, I want to go because I want to win the Champions League. And I'm like, but you're not going to play for them. You are not going to play. And I was like, listen, I want to win the Champions League as well. Like, let me just see what I can do in the transfer. But I didn't know what else to say to him. And he was like, okay, obviously I couldn't strengthen it enough to make him happy. But he's not really kicked up too much of a fuss. He's just got a slight concern because he wanted to go to a big club with a stronger squad. But now Huddersfield, Sunderland, Almeria and Metalak are in for him. So that kind of gives you an idea. PSG didn't want him anymore. I was like, why do you want to go to PSG, man? You're not going to play. So, yeah. But like I said, we've got Kushart in now who I think could potentially replace him long term anyway. Because I feel like Jovic is someone... Our kind of loyalty to him might have cost us a little bit, I don't know. But yeah, we've got a new right winger who potentially could sort of help phase Jovic out if needed. I don't think we'll ever fully phase Jovic out, he's too valuable. So yeah, we had a couple of scrappy draws. This was a great goal from Pittier, to be fair. Drew with Red Star. Drew with 87th minute equaliser was very annoying. Tugard had just come back in this game. And I don't think he was quite fully fit because this guy literally burst down the flank behind him. And then Tugard went and got injured again anyway. Nicola, just as a reminder, the now 16-year-old, 11 goals and an assist in 12 league games. He's been fantastic. Esasuna, you'll notice his name is popping up all over the place because he is scoring goals by the hatful. How many is he on now? 9 goals, 12 assists, 10 goals and 14 assists in all comps. But yeah, you'll notice the losses in the Champions League. So the Leipzig one, Martin Petras has not quite hit the ground running. He had 2 goals disallowed in this game for offside. He's had about 5 goals disallowed for offside in total this season. When he had them disallowed, it was 0-0 each time. If he'd have just been able to stay on side and still put them away, it would have been 2-0 up potentially. But as it was, Leipzig beat us. On paper, yeah, you can say they deserved it, I suppose. Feyenoord, on the other hand, their only shot on target was this penalty. Now, I think it was a match-ending issue because the penalty, it was given for a sliding tackle by our defender on their forward. But when you see the sliding tackle go in, the forward doesn't get touched. The forward stays on his feet. If anything, it looks like this defender's going to take out Simon in goal. And about a split second later, the ref blows for a penalty. So I can only assume it's a match-ending issue. It's not showing what actually happened because I was fuming. That meant from our first 3 games, we'd only won once, and that was against Astana. But hey, it happens. Fair enough. This Stancon game, as you can see, we were 2-0 up, and then it was 2-2. Just stupid. That's kind of been the fixture for us, really. We drew 2-2 with Inter, and we drew 1-1 with Stuttgart. We were actually down to 10 men at this stage because Granados was injured and we couldn't bring anyone else on, but we still managed to pull it back through Cvetanovic in the 95th minute. And then Stuttgart, yeah, we really should have done better, but it's been really frustrating. We really struggled for consistency, I think, because we've had so many injuries and we did have quite a bit of a transitional summer window. But yeah, we've got Red Star and Aris today, and we really need to get a result against Aris because then we've got Dortmund and Arsenal. And as it stands, we're like outside but we are outside the Champions League spots, so we've got a lot of work to do just to really get into this top 24, really. So I'm a bit concerned, to be honest with you, that after doing so well last season, we're going to lose some playoff points this season potentially, and we're going to have a bit of a stinker in the Champions League. Meanwhile, in the Conference League, we've got 3 teams after a couple of teams dropped down from the Champions League and the Europa League. I think Red Star went from Champions League to Europa League, went through a round, and then threw away a lead against Wolfsburg at AC from Austria, and then came into the Conference League. But thankfully, all our teams so far doing pretty well. Vojvodina, the only side sort of really struggling a little bit, but they still should hopefully go through. Whereas Stancom and Red Star have got a perfect record. So our playoff points wise, we are actually doing quite well, but obviously we need to make sure we get through to help with the Champions League. Our coefficients, it's not working the bookmark for some reason, so I'll show you it here. As you can see, we are creeping up quite nicely now. We're due to finish above Scotland, hopefully close the gap onto Denmark a little bit, who've had quite a poor return so far. And we're actually doing better than Belgium now. For a time, Belgium were looking like they were going to do better than us, but hopefully we'll at least leapfrog Scotland up into 10th. So in the first of today's 2 games, we're going up against Red Star, and you'll notice the tactic is a little bit different. We're trying a 4-3-3, I don't know why. I can't really tell you. The 4-2-3-1 obviously had worked for us for so long, but equally it has struggled a little bit this season. But again, I'm not sure if that's just us. But we just thought we'd try it just to see how we get on. Just for something a bit different, see if it maybe helps us a little bit in some of the bigger games in the Champions League. So far, obviously it hasn't, but equally some of those games we have been playing the 4-2-3-1 as well. We played this for about the first 6 or 7 games, then we reverted back to the 4-2-3-1. Basically, I've been using this to try and get a bit of familiarity with it, in case we ever want to use it to help close down games. The main differences is Diego Costas is a half-back, this is a CM on attack, this is a Metzala, and these are 2 attacking wing-backs, so we have sort of like a defensive 3 here, sort of to help guard against the counter when these bomb forwards. Rogan is dropped just for Ngoy, no particular reason. Falcone is injured. As I said, Ngoy can play on both sides, and Bishabu just had a high risk of injury, so we brought Suarez in and Stankovic, they just rotate. And we've gone for Micanovic just because he's been in such good form, and we've gone with Kushart just to give him a chance and see how he does over Jovic, and as I said, Sunar's been fantastic. One thing I did need to check actually is opposition instructions. If you notice, the camera angle looks a little bit different as well. We've tried messing around with the camera angle. I don't know why, I've just sort of decided this season we're just going to try a few different little bits. Kangwa is so weak now, we're just going to hammer him hopefully. And we'll just mark him and go with that for now. But yeah, it's been a bit of a weird season. Obviously last season we were so comfortable. Whereas as you can see, because while we're unbeaten, we're the only unbeaten side so far. You know, we played 15 games, 20 games, won 15, draw 5. We're still in the lead, but we're nowhere near as comfortable as we were last season. And so far, we're not really getting anything in this either. This is kind of, just the instructions using with this tactic. Nothing too crazy in some ways, but we just thought we'd try it and see if we can get a little bit more success. It's not as adventurous going forwards, don't get me wrong. Someone who is really frustrating me though is Granados. Like, attributes wise, he's injured, that's why he's not playing today, by the way. He should absolutely be tearing up this league, and he just can't. He just doesn't do it. Don't get me wrong, he's still... he might be offside. I scored a goal like this, which I didn't think was offside, but it was. So he's been given. Brilliant, thanks, fantastic, excellent stuff. Granados is just not delivering at all. He should be ripping this league up with his attributes. He's so good, but he's just not been doing it. And his value is really depreciated. And I can't really offer him a new contract because there's always interest in him. And it's really frustrating because otherwise I want to try and get his release clause for him, which is 76 mil, but I don't think we'll ever be able to get it. Just because he just doesn't perform enough. I hope that maybe playing as a Metzala might help improve his sort of performances and he might do a bit better, but it's not really worked that way. Oh, great ball. Yes, that's onside. That's got to be onside. He looked like he just peeled off the defender. Lovely. Thank you. I was going to say, don't you dare disallow that. There was no way that was offside. It was a lovely ball from Kushart. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right. And yeah, he timed his run perfectly. It's a great finish just from the inside of the edge of the box from Micanovic. Powered right into the bottom corner. Alexic whips it in. Can we do anything here? Yes, we have. Micanovic has scored because the keeper... Oh, it's been given as an own goal. I've never seen that. The keeper literally just walks the ball into the net. And in the space of 5 minutes, the game's completely turned around on its head. And Micanovic isn't the biggest. He's only at 5'10". I say that, I'm 5'6". Don't get me wrong, I'm tiny. But, you know, considering he's not the tallest, probably compared to those defenders, he did really well to reach that. And that's perfect. Like I said, we roasted the players at half-time. Absolutely roasted them. And it seems to have had the desired effect so far. It is time to make a few subs. We will probably bring Regan on and we will drop the wing-backs back just to provide a little bit of... more security down the wings. Ruben Laura is someone who's, been getting more game time. He's done quite well since he's come in. Can't really complain. considering he was out on loan at West Ham last season, didn't really do much. Well, he did enough, but nothing revolutionary. So he's come back to us and he's done all right. He was part of the, we're going to try and flip him for a profit because he felt like he was undervalued. Not in a... Sorry, everyone, I just had to pause at the end. I had a moment of panic that my mic had stopped recording, which it does do from time to time. We missed a pretty tasty chance, basically. We had a corner that came in and it looked like it could have easily been put in by Mendonca, but he somehow managed to hit the post from a really close angle. But so far, we're looking pretty good for the win. We'll make the final changes. But yeah, Ruben Laura, we were going to try and flip him for a profit. We've not been able to do that, and he's actually just ended up playing a part for the team. So we'll see. We might be able to sell him in the end, but for now, he's just going to stick around and hopefully continue developing. I say developing. We're not expecting him to develop too much. He's like 27, but we might be able to sneak a profit out of him. Yeah, because Racing Club only valued him at about 4.5 mil, and I felt like he was worth a lot more than that based on his attributes, so I saw no reason why we couldn't generate some sort of profit, and that's a lovely win. But yeah, this is Granados. I didn't think it's particularly unreasonable to be expecting him to have pulled up better numbers than 17 goals in 70 appearances. No disrespect to the Serbian Super League, but he should be killing it. He got 10 goals in his first full season, 13 in all comps, 8 assists, not bad. And then last season, he was injured for a bit. Well, that's 6.96. He's been a little bit better this season, to be fair. 5 goals, 2 assists. But I don't know, I just feel like he should be doing more. Maybe I'm just not realising exactly, maybe that he is doing better than I realise. I don't really know. I just feel like he should be bossing it. He should be running games for us. He still will pick up the ball and, like, in 2 touches, like, really quickly play a perfect ball in behind, don't get me wrong. I just feel like, I don't know, he should... I feel like he should be running the show a bit more. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but I see players like, Jovic and Sunar and stuff doing what they do, and I'm like, why isn't he doing that? And my tactic is narrow. It's not got necessarily a focus on playing it down the wings or whatever like that. Usually when we do the 4-2-3-1, I don't know why. I don't know whether I need to change the role. Like I said, we tried playing him as a Metzala. He did okay. He looks like he could be decent, doesn't he? Is he on my... I think he's on my shortlist. Yeah, he's on my shortlist. I just feel like he should be doing better. Really just feel like he should be doing better. Yeah, I don't know if I need to change him into an attacking midfielder, even a Czech artista. I don't know. Just want to get him in the game more, really, and just have him absolutely just doing bits. But then again, you see his stats for this season, and is he actually doing all right? Davide went out on loan to Guion. He's doing okay. Cristea, he's got 2 goals in that game. He's doing well. Yeah. So the Tuesday games have just been played, and a few games have really gone our way. If we can win, we could potentially go up to 20th, 19th, even 18th, depending on how the stupid, messed up head-to-head works in the pre-winter update version of this game. But either way, if we win, we should be, going up back into the playoff spots before we play an underperforming Dortmund, who are really struggling in the league, and Arsenal, who've had a bit of an uninspiring Champions League campaign. Hey, this is nice just to sort of put to bed any speculation. Jovic no longer wants to leave, because he has had a brilliant season again. I feel like we say it all the time. 9 goals and 8 assists so far. Yeah, phenomenal. Let's see, what's that his best season? He got more goals that season, but I don't think he's had that many assists yet. Oh no, when was that? Oh, so he matched his best season, which was that one. But that was his best average match rating last season. But obviously, everything will count for nothing if we can't get the win here against Aris. And let's be honest, we should be winning this. I think I might go for Bishabu over Stankovic actually. And we don't want him to be playing as a ball player, so we'll leave it at that. A couple of little changes. Jovic is in for Kushart, and Chihan is in for Costas, and Ragan is in for Ungoi. Just, again, injury risks. So yeah, game we should be winning, and we need to make sure we do, let's be honest. We should be winning a game like this. and it's imperative that we do. Let's be honest, absolutely imperative. No room for mistakes. We're trying the 4-3-3 again, just to try and get a little bit more sort of data on it, really, I guess, from our point of view. So we did used to do a 4-3-3. I mean, that might be a penalty. It'd be innocuous if it is, but they seem to get given. I find they seem to get given more in the Champions League. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but I seem to get really innocuous looking penalties given for me and against me. Some's been given for us in the Champions League, and I think it's going to be Bijovic, obviously. I was going to say, he missed his last penalty as well, but that was just after PSG had bid for him, so I think he's a bit unsettled, but he's made no mistakes there, and after 2 minutes, we are 1-0 up. Wasn't the best penalty, but they all count as long as they hit the back of the net. And that will see us go up to 23rd. Okay. But ahead of Monaco, who had just gone up a bit, but they had played a game more, and Milan had played a game more. Okay. Everton, meanwhile, look at that, sitting in 8th. Lovely stuff. Great. Spurs would have to take the lead, wouldn't they? I'm counting on trying to get past them, for them to slip up. Curben van beating Liège is not ideal. We need Denmark to do rubbish, but equally we also need Belgium to do rubbish as well. So a draw there would be better for us. We just hit the bar. I'd love another goal before half time. Sorry if I seem really flat. I'm just exhausted, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm just so tired. Work is just absolutely destroying me at the moment. Nice, Rogan. Go on, lad. Still going. Is that Christos Solis? Of FM21, 22 fame, who then went to Norwich. 21, must have been 21, because he went to Norwich in 22 when they got relegated. Come on, lads. So yeah, the thing I guess I kind of like about the 4-3-3, like I said, we did used to use it. We used to do the 4-3-3, but we had two double pivots. We had a great goal. See, that's what Castellani does. We had a double pivot in the DM slot with Alexic just sitting in front of them in the CM slot. We used to call it our false 10 or our advanced 8. We used to play as a CM on attack, I believe it was, or an advanced playmaker on attack with get forward whenever possible. So we used to basically just burst forward from this sort of deeper, from this role as like a sort of false attacking midfielder. And then we advanced that to just a more typical 4-2-3-1. And then we reverted to a 4-3-3 for a time when that seemed to hit some issues, seemed to get a little bit stale. So we dropped that back. And then we went back to the 4-2-3-1 once we just tried it, and we bagged a hatful of goals in like very few games. So we thought, stick with this. I'm going to bring Petras on. See if I can show you what I mean about his persistent offsides. So yeah, that's why we've gone back to... That's why we ended up going back to that in the first place. I think we take Alexic off, don't we? Basically because, yeah, we just started banging the goals in. And obviously it did quite well for us last season. You know, in the Champions League we did really, really well. But equally we still, did get dumped out by Newcastle. They ripped us apart at home. So it's things like that which made me think, would the 4-3-3 give us a bit more stability and help stop that? It might be a little bit more boring, might be not as free scoring, but if it made us a bit more stable and hard to break down, then brilliant. So yeah, that's my thought process. I'm aware that my thought process really seems really scatty today because I feel like I'm waffling and chatting a lot of rubbish. So yeah, we just have to see. Like I said, this season's got quite a few caveats to it, I think, because with the summer we lost a lot of players. And the start of the season we had a lot of injuries, which really disrupted how well players got settled. And Petras scores a lovely goal. He is someone who I think, if he can discover a bit of consistency, if he can stop falling offside, could be a really good striker for us. He's pretty young. I was going to quickly show you him. This might go in. This nearly does. But this is... why is it not doing that this time? This is Petras, basically. He's just turned 20. I say just turned 20. Turned 20 earlier on this year. Looks like he could be a really good striker. Really, really good. His numbers are actually still pretty good, to be fair, considering he's been offside so many times. Yeah. decent option, and we're going to bring on Falcone for Ogan because he is tired. 2 guard can come off, I think. Can he? Can Skiba can't play there. Bishabu, though, he's left-footed. He can just drop back as a fullback on support. I could have easily brought Ngoy on, but I thought, no, I'm going to bring Skiba on. It's 3-0. We should really be okay at this stage. And a few other results looking at things have gone our way. It's like Celtic are beating Monaco, which while we need Scotland to lose points, coefficient-wise, obviously with us winning, it should balance out, and them beating Monaco helps keep a team closer to us, considering they have played a game more as well. Couchard is in. What can he do? Pull it back. And it's gone out for a goal kick. He should have pulled it back. We had Laura literally just hanging at on the penalty spot. And Katsimi, who used to play for us, has done quite well for Copenhagen since he's gone there, Gerben Vaughan. And he scored again today. Fair play to him. It's nice to see. This could be offside. It's going to be given because it's not even been called back for a close offside. I thought he could have been very close to being off, but lovely ball from Castorani and a lovely finish from it. And it's not Zolis, it's someone else, Ciolis. But a great finish. Lovely goal. 4-0. This is just what we need just before we go into the winter break. This will be putting us up to 20th. Before we play Arsenal and Dortmund. I think it's Dortmund first. If we can win that, I'd like to think we'll be okay before we go into the Arsenal game. Yeah, Dortmund are 13th in the league. They've just sacked Erik ten Hag. So I imagine by the time we play them, they'll probably be a little bit further along. And might be in signs of recovery, so it might be a really rubbish time to play them. But only time will tell. And that was literally a perfect performance for us. I've just seen the teams that are guaranteed playoff spots. Ajax, Feyenoord and Levante. That's ridiculous. Especially when we really should have been fine. I'm just going to show you the stats from that game. I probably won't be able to show you the penalty as well because it won't show. How did we not win this game? I just don't get it, man. But see, this is what I mean. Look at this. Granados, right, a 6.4 in this game. Just unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable, man. Like, I don't get how we didn't win. We absolutely battered them and we just couldn't put the ball in the net, and we conceded a stupid BS penalty. But yeah, that is a big help. If we can beat, like I said, I'm sure it's Dortmund. It's Dortmund first. If we can beat them, I reckon that does us. Because that'll put us on 11 points. That'll put us above Dortmund for a start. And it will put us, for example, it would put us 5 points clear of Monaco. As an example. So that's one more team that won't be able to catch us. I think if we can beat them, I think we'll be alright. I don't think we'll be able to sneak into these unless we get really lucky and Fenner and Everton and Leipzig all slip up. But Fenner doing well is not ideal. As you can see, they are on course to finish with a lot of points at the end of this. They're going to jump up over Denmark and be just behind Portugal as well. Scotland are losing a fairly decent season, but so are Turkey, which is the big problem, really. We are losing a relatively good season for us in a 9.3. So, yeah, that's why we're going to sort of struggle, I think, a little bit. We're going to possibly have to try and really bounce up next season to try and catch up to Denmark and Turkey. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably play the Dortmund game off camera. Depending on what happens in that, I'll bring it back for the Arsenal game. Potentially, if it's all to play for in the Arsenal game, if we're pretty much safe and dry in the Arsenal game, I might not bring it back if that's okay. And we'll bring it back for the Champions League games when they come around. I hope everyone's okay with this distance. Let me know if you'd rather see more. I'm happy to bring it back for more. Like I said, I'm just acutely aware of the time, and I don't want to waste your time on fluff, basically. I'd rather bring it back for games which are particularly important. I know you might think, well, Inter would have been a better game. Look at that, it's exciting. But in terms of context, getting a win here in a must-win game was far more important because of the results against Inter and Stuttgart. And obviously Feyenoord. So, yeah. All right, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed the episode. I'll hopefully be a bit more with it next time. And I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Bye.